The scandal surrounding the golden button for the Black Hawk helicopter is striking not only because of its outrageous price, $47,000 for a component that actually costs around $15,000, but also because this story has become a vivid symbol of the systemic crisis within U.S. defense procurement. Budget overruns, years-long delays, and opaque pricing schemes in the American defense industry have been accumulating for decades, but only now has the Army openly called out the problem. U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll effectively accused major defense contractors of deliberately pushing the military toward excessively expensive solutions, even when far cheaper civilian alternatives exist. His sharply worded comments to Reuters, unusually tough for his position, signal that the Pentagon's patience has run out. For the United States, this is hardly breaking news. Cases of inflated prices have surfaced in the media multiple times before. One classic example is the $48 hammers that cost just $9 on the civilian market. But the story of the $47,000 screen control knob for the Black Hawk helicopter shocked the public because it exposed a price difference of more than 3,000 times between real manufacturing costs and the amount charged to the government. According to Army officials, such components can be easily produced on the open market without any secret technology, yet specialized contractors sell them at prices comparable to high-tech systems for major weapons platforms. This forced military leadership to acknowledge that the problem is no longer an exception, it has become systemic. However, what hurts the Pentagon most are not the small components, but the massive and overly expensive programs that burn through billions. The 2,000-kilometer long-range cannon project, abandoned in 2022, stands out as one of the most illustrative failures. Marketed as a revolutionary breakthrough, it ultimately proved technically unrealistic despite years of investment. A more recent example is the M10 Booker tank, over a decade of development, nearly $2 billion spent, and a complete cancellation of serial production. Now the U.S. Army doesn't even know what to do with the already manufactured vehicles. Such cases highlight deep flaws not only among contractors but also within government institutions that approved these programs in the first place. The root of the problem lies in the long-standing model in which major defense companies effectively control pricing. Specialized components produced by a limited pool of contractors form a closed market with little to no competition, forcing the military to buy whatever is offered. Driscoll openly stated that the system has been deceiving the Pentagon and the American people, while also acknowledging the government's own responsibility for allowing this model to persist. This is a crucial detail. Washington is no longer hiding behind diplomatic phrasing. Accusations are now coming directly from top officials, indicating the seriousness of the planned reforms. In response, the Army has launched a new initiative aimed at overhauling defense procurement. Its core idea is to gradually phase out purchases of highly specialized components when identical or similar items are available on the civilian market at normal prices. In other words, the military wants to broaden competition and reduce dependence on defense industry monopolies. If implemented, the new procurement model could drastically reshape the landscape: more transparency, more flexibility, and far fewer opportunities for artificial price inflation. This scandal is not merely a story about one golden button. It is a signal that the era of uncontrollable budgets and massive markups in the U.S. defense sector is coming to an end. Military leadership is prepared to rethink its approaches, clean up the system, and reset its relationship with defense contractors. The real question is whether Congress and the administration will have the political will to carry the reform through and prevent powerful defense industry lobbyists from blocking it. If the Army succeeds in shifting toward more open and competitive procurement mechanisms, the U.S. could save billions of dollars, and finally build a more efficient defense system, free of gold-plated components and costly megaprojects that drain the budget for years.